Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time. Whew. Apologies if this is starting a little bit later than normal. I had an urgent matter that I needed to take care of. Well, it was kind of sprung on me. It was kind of sprung on me while I was at church. But so that's the reason why I extended where the stream was, when the stream would start. So I am I'm just happy that I took care of it. And now we can get started, ladies and gentlemen. Let us begin with the formalities. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here. It's good to be back here in my station. You guys know this is my favorite place to be. This is one of my favorite places to be. So I'm happy to bring you yet another One Piece chapter reaction and review. In the last chapter, we saw the official announcement of Luffy beating Kaido, and Kaido and Big Mom getting caught up in a volcanic explosion underwater, and then Momonosuke making his way to the Flower Capital, where he transforms back into his human form, but we don't see it yet, and it has Denjiro, along with Hiyori, entering into the Flower Capital, as Denjiro says it's time to introduce the new Shogun of Wano. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, I see here on Viz, on the Shonen Jump site, that we do not go on break after this chapter. We do go on break for My Hero Academia after I get done with that reaction, but we don't go on break with this one. So let's get started with chapter 1051, and it's called Shogun of Wano, Kozuki Momonosuke. And then we have, An Emotionless Excursion, Volume 13, Germa's Escape, as Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji, along with Reiju, make their way out of the destroyed building that they pretty much just destroyed when Ichiji and Reiju went to go rescue Niji and Yonji. So they're just walking away from a full-on explosion, or at least the town is on fire, as they are just starting to leave Whole Cake Island. So the Vinsmoke siblings have reunited once again. The only person missing from this entire group is Judge, and then you have all of the powerhouses of Germa Double Six. So, let's go ahead and get started, where it has people running away from the square of the Flower Capital, because as you know, Momonosuke came in, and he flew in as a dragon. It's scaring everyone, because they thought he looked like Kaido, not knowing that Kaido was already defeated. So we have someone saying, "There's no need to run, stop! Apparently that big dragon wasn't Lord Kaido." Wait, there are two dragons? What does that mean? What's happening in front of the castle? Why is Komurasaki here? Boss Kiyoshiro, what does this mean? And then it cuts to someone saying, "You two are famous, but I wonder if any here remembers the rest of us." And then everyone is shocked to see Kinemon, who is fully upright now. Kinemon? What? I thought he was dead. Didn't he perish in the flames of Odin Castle that fateful day? Why is he here? Is it just a dream? And then the rest of the Akazaya 9 start to come out of the mist. Is this the afterlife? When did we die? Oh no! Who cares if it's a dream? Oh no. Who cares if it's a dream or whatever? It's not just me, right? Something monumental is happening. Prepare the light scrolls! We have to let all of Wano know! And then it cuts to Kawamatsu coming out of the mist. It cuts to Inuarashi coming out of the mist. It cuts to Raizo coming out of the mist. It cuts to Nekomamushi coming out of the mist, who has Kiku resting on his arm. Like he's holding up Kiku as they're walking, I guess being the support for Kiku there. But someone says, "Hurry! It was them! The Akazaya 9! I thought they had all died 20 years ago. But Lady Toki's words were true!" And it has people just covering, it has their eyes just bawling. Their eyes are just bawling. And then it cuts to Ringo. Something's happened in the capital. Then it cuts to Hakumai. Does it have something to do with that earthquake? Then it cuts to Kibi. I thought the whole realm was going to crumble down. Then it cuts to Kuri. Everyone into Bakura Town. They're showing the capital. Then it cuts to Udon with Babanuki and the rest of them. We've got more important things than that signal, says Babanuki. Then it cuts to Ebisu Town as everyone is still laughing and they're saying, "What's this?" And then it cuts to Onigashima. What's going on? There's a signal coming in from the flower capital. Put it on the light scroll. And then it has Brook and Frankie. Getting up in arms as they're saying, "You're Kaido's son? What? You mean there's still fighting to do?" And then it cuts to, because they're just now meeting Yamato. They're just now meeting Yamato after all the fighting has gone. They're just now meeting her. And Yamato says, No, I'm not your enemy. In fact, I've been following all of your exploits in the newspaper. I have to say, I wasn't sure how many of you were actually human, but you all seem pretty normal. As she stares face to face with a walking skeleton known as Brook. And the cyborg, Frankie. And then Frankie says, "What about your hordes then?" And then Sanji runs up saying, "Kaido's," and he looks confused as Yamato says, "At any rate, I'm going to be joining you on your ship. I'm Kozuki Oden," she says, "otherwise known as Yamato. Nice to meet you." And then everyone says, "What?" So this is pretty much what's going to jumpstart people thinking that Yamato is going to join with the ship. I don't know what the rest of the chapter holds. Don't say anything. Let me just find out completely. But she says, "At any rate, I'm going to be joining on your ship. I'm Kozuki Oden, otherwise known as Yamato. Nice to meet you." And then Nami and Usopp says, "What?" With Frankie saying, "On our crew." And then Brook and Sanji are for the idea as Brook says, "Yo, I'm all for it." And Sanji says, "I'm especially for it." And then it has Robin in the background. She's just chilling. She says, "You're a funny one." And then Jinbei says, "It's nice of you to invite yourself aboard, but it's the captain who decides that." And then Yamato says, "Yeah, that's true." And then it cuts to Chopper, who's tending to Luffy and Zoro, with her saying, "I hope Luffy's all right. I got the shivers watching him fight, seeing what he did." And then she looks and she notices some beast pirates trying to run away. "Hey, who said you could run away?" "We don't want to be slaves, young Master Yamato." And then Jinbei says, "Well, I don't sense any particular hostility, so..." And then Hamlet runs up. Along with Briscola, with Hamlet saying, "Yeah, you goons shut up and stay there." And then Usopp says, "Say, what happens with those guys?" as he talks to Tama. And Tama says, "Once the moon comes back around, my jutsu will wear off." Wow, so there are limitations. We are just now learning the limitations of her Kibidongo devil fruit power. Wow, okay. So Tama says, "Once the moon comes back around, my jutsu will wear off." Meaning in 1 month? And we get explained her devil fruit power lasts for a month. "After a month, some animals go back the way they were, but some of them will stay my friend. I bet they choose whichever they feel more comfortable with," says Tama. And then Speed comes up and says, "Master, I'm so much happier with you." And then Tama says, "Ah, I hope you stay with me too, Horselina. But not like a servant, more like a mommy. I hope you stay with me forever." And then Speed is just hit with the maximum amount of cuteness. She's all like, "Oh!" And then it has them putting the light scrolls up as people are yelling out, "Look at that! Komonosaki and Kin's group are all kneeling!" Who is that? Yo, Momonosuke standing in the mist, and he says, 20 years have passed since the death of my father, Kozuki Oden." Father? You mean? "I'm so glad that you have survived these long, difficult years. The Fire Festival is not ending. Starting tomorrow, you may do whatever business you like." "Huh? But Orochi won't." "You may drink to your heart's content." Oh, and it's going across all of the regions. "You will not pay for the water from the earth. No poison from factories will be allowed to spoil the land. There will be no slaves in Wano." And then Tama's seeing this and she says, "Momo?" "Just today at the factory, another 4 died. It's every man for himself." As Tama is thinking back to when people were coming from the factories. "Just today at the factory, another 4 died. It's every man for himself. Who's going to tell her? The poor girl. Listen, Otama. This is very difficult to say, but I'm afraid your father and mother are. And I guess the 4 that died at the factory when Tama was, just like a very small child, smaller than she is now, they were her mother and father that died. And it cuts to her and a young Komachiyo, who's pretty much her size at this age, as she yells out,
Mommy, Daddy, rest in peace. I'll be okay on my own.
And then it cuts to Komachiyo, and her, at a young age, she was selling hats. And she says,
Please buy a casa. Will anyone like a woven hat?
And then someone's saying, sorry, kid, no money.
Would you like to buy a casa?
Wow, she's so, oh, my heart. Just seeing a little child just trying to survive out in the streets. That's my weakness. That is my weakness. Just seeing her, and she has a smile on her face while she's doing all of this. And it's snowing out. And she's back at her place that's just full of woven hats that she's made. And she says,
Sorry, Komachiyo, I couldn't sell any hats.
And then someone steps up saying, I'll take 1 casa, please. And it's Hitetsu. It's Tenguyama. That's his name, Tenguyama. Why do I keep going with Hitetsu? It's Tenguyama who meets her for the first time as he says, I'll take 1 casa, please. And she says,
A Tengu!
And Tenguyama says, you're an orphan. Just bear with it. Only a few more years. Until the day that powerful samurai called the Kozuki return and vanquish the ogres for good. Yet another time that we hear the mention of the name ogres. And vanquish the ogres for good.
Kozuki? Is it true? I'll bear with it then. I'll be okay.
And then it cuts to Tama gripping onto Nami, just crying her eyes out. Oh, Tama? Tama? And then it cuts back to Luffy's words to her when he says, we'll make it so this is normal. By the time we leave this country, it'll be a place where you can eat as much as you want every single day. And Tama is remembering. Oh, this is the hit you in the feels chapter, because this is the moment where she remembers that Luffy kept his promise. And then it cuts back to Momonosuke speaking, saying, Orochi's wicked rule and the threat of Kaido are gone for good. We've found strong, faithful companions at sea. And as part of the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance, we led a raid upon Onigashima. Kaido, Orochi, the Animal Kingdom pirates, every evil that plagues our fair land has been vanquished! And here's the thing about Momonosuke. I was thinking that his hair would be similar to his father's, but in this shadow of a silhouette, his hair is just long and wild. Oh, I already like the shape of him already. But all the citizens are saying, what? They beat those monsters? That horrible Orochi is no more? And then it cuts to Kid, who's around, who says, the what alliance? And then all the citizens start screaming out loud, yeah! And it cuts to it cuts to Beppo, who's around Law, as Momonosuke continues. And we will never forget the sacrifices of those brave souls who paved the way for this raid. It cuts to Carrot, who's crying, obviously more than likely thinking of Pedro, who helped bring this about. And then it cuts to Toko, who's there with Tenguyama. And then it cuts to Momonosuke, who's thinking, Kinemon, I've run out of things to say. What do I do now? And then Kinemon is looking at him as if mentally thinking, just keep going. Bluff your heart out. And then it cuts back to Luffy, when in the past, who said to him, what are you, Momo? Just a figurehead? Is there a single thing left in the world to be scared of? And then as the people of Wano are screaming and cheering, he then says, My father gave me a name that means invincible. Under my rule, this parched and ruined land will turn into a paradise on earth. Lend me your strength, and let us work towards this end together. I have traveled 20 years to save you all. From this day on, let me turn this page. I, Kozuki Momonosuke, will lead the land of Wano. This man looks good. This man looks good. Oh, we finally get the reveal of what Momonosuke looks like, and he looks just like his father. Oh! Oh! Come on, Kozuki Momonosuke! Let's go! Why you look good, bro? Why you look good? Why? Why? You look just like your dad. Yo! Yo, this is enough to make a grown man cry. I am being so serious right now. I see his father. Oh, wow. Wow, Oden. Wow. Oden, 20, 20. Wow. Just like his dad. Let me stop. He looks just like his dad. I, Kozuki Momonosuke, will lead the land of Wano, and he just stands there, fully decked out in regalia. Nekomamushi is crying, and everyone is crying. Everyone is crying. Nekomamushi is bawling his eyes out. Hiyori's crying. Denjito's crying. Kawamatsu's crying. Kinemon is crying. Kiku is crying. And then Momonosuke just thinks, Mother, I will keep my promise. Father, I will follow in your footsteps. And then all the citizens are crying. All the citizens are crying, going, Lord Momonosuke! Sanji's crying. Well, Sanji's not crying. He's just lighting up a cigarette. Yamato's there cheering with Frankie. Tama's holding on to Nami as she's crying. Momonosuke standing there as he says... Momonosuke is standing there as the entirety of Wano cheers. The entirety of Wano cheers as they go, The true shogunate has returned at last! We've been awaiting you for so long, Lord Momonosuke! And then we get narration to cap off and finish the chapter. And when the warrior at last sheath his blade, the sky of the day to come dance with spinning, fluttering petals. This is the land of samurai. Here under the night blossoms stands a handsome man of 8, blessed with great dedication and mercy, and a level of strength that can be forgiven. This is the birth of the man who would later be known around the world as the great shogun of Wano, Kozuki Momonosuke. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the chapter. That's all there is. There isn't anymore. This is a 10 out of 10 chapter. Let me reiterate, this is a 10 out of 10 chapter. Not just because we got to see Momo in his fully adult 28-year-old form now, but this is a 10 out of 10 chapter because the prophecy that Lady Toki set in motion by sending Momonosuke and Kinemon and the rest of the Akazaya 9 into the future has come to pass. The long-awaited day when the Kozuki clan would come back, reclaim Wano, oust Kaido and Orochi from the lands, and the land of Wano can return to the paradise it was, has finally reached its conclusion. Oden would be proud. I'm trying to hold some tears back. I'm being very honest with you right now. But to see this moment happen, Oden would be so proud of his son. To see all of this come to pass. just to see this moment happen. Oden worked so hard to save the lives of the people of Wano, back when Orochi said, if you dance like a fool in these streets for all of these years, then me and Kaido will leave. But he lied to him, and then Oden decided to retaliate and fight back, which then led to the Hour of Legends, and then led to his death, but not before he still gave the rest of the Akazaya a chance to bring about freeing Wano from the clutches of Kaido and Orochi. The moment, like, first of all, let me just read through what you guys have said real quick. Hope Hiyori kicks him in the next chapter. Gonna need a box of tissues when the anime adapts this chapter. Imagine the Raizo is safe. Original soundtrack playing during a speech. Let's go. Wano arc is finished. We're entering into the aftermath because we still got to do the aftermath of it. But all the fighting is done. Momonosuke has now come back to reclaim Wano to the joy of everyone there. And yet we're still in Act 3, so maybe the next chapter will finish Act 3. And we're not going on break. This is a chapter that I would think we were going on break for, but we're not. We're getting another chapter next week, apparently. But let me go back. Finally, now Momo just stopped being a crybaby. Just got to stop being a crybaby. I think he got over. I want to believe he's starting to get over that. When he decided to try and retaliate against Kaido and thought of his mother back when he was thinking about using flame clouds to pull Onigashima out of the way before Luffy defeated Kaido. He doesn't look like his father. He looks better. Momonosuke looks absolutely amazing. Love Kid just learning what the name of the team he's on. Yeah, ain't that funny how Kid just learned, wait, what? We're called the what now? Getting slapped in the face by more Luffy silliness. That camera angle looking down on crying Tama makes it super brutal. Like I'm telling her parents died. Like we're looking at a point of view of someone looking down at Tama telling her that her parents died in the factory. Cuteness damage, she was hitting the fields. We saw those Hakumai kids back in chapter 954 when Apu arrived in Wano with the numbers. Also nice cameo by Onimaru. Did I miss Onimaru? Hold on. Let me go back. Yeah, Onimaru's there with the people in Ringo. How did I not notice him there? And then, like you said, there's the kids in Hakumai that were there when Apu and the numbers came through. How did I not notice Onimaru there? So he's there to see the complete conclusion of Momonosuke assuming the throne again. Got spoiled by a video title about the new Straw Hat, even if we all know about the new Straw Hat. I mean, I wouldn't call Yamato the newest Straw Hat, because, like Jinbei said, she just calls herself like, I'm joining your ship and going with you. But Jinbei's all like, yeah, it's nice that you're eager to join us, but that's really up to our captain. So until Luffy says otherwise, Yamato's not fully inducted into the Straw Hat. So until Yamato says so, until Luffy says so, Yamato is just a tag along. She's not an official crew member yet until the chapter reveals it. If Oda goes in that direction. So I wouldn't hold my breath. But it's good to see you, Blaziken, Kohagen, Julian, CJ Ogata-san, Sensei Nam, Neil, and Gajeel as well. It's good to see everyone here. Is in the background in dog form. Oh, I've already noticed. I know, Julian. Yamato, hold up. Please send your application and we'll call you back. Do you think Luffy will refuse her? I'm not saying that Luffy's going to say no, but we need to wait for Luffy to say yes. That's all I'm saying. I'm not against the idea of Yamato joining the crew. I'm not, because that'll be just yet another powerhouse. It'll be yet another mythical zone user on the crew, along with Luffy. I'm not saying no. We just need to wait for Luffy to say yes. That's it. That's my take on it. But this was a great chapter. All the way. a story brought about since Momonosuke and Kinemon ended up from Wano to Dressrosa, and then separated by Kanjuro, and then ended up on Punk Hazard. And then we learned who Kinemon was. Then we learned who Momonosuke was. And then Law teaming up with Luffy in order to create an alliance to take down Kaido. The story of how Wano was. And the story of Momonosuke and Kinemon and pretty much everyone there ever been involved with, from Punk Hazard to Dressrosa to Zou to Whole Cake Island to everything in between, to see it come to this point where now the promise that Luffy made to them has finally come to a conclusion. I wonder what conversation with Yamato and Zoro is going to be about when he wakes up. Right, because Zoro has not met Yamato, has he? He has not fully met Yamato yet. Because after he took that hit from Big Mom and Kaido's conquer, what was it? Hakai? And then he got downed after taking the regeneration and taking on King. He's been out ever since. So has he formally been introduced to Yamato? I don't think he has. But getting back to it, seeing the story of how we were introduced to Momonosuke and Kinemon and Punk Hazard, and then seeing all the adventures lead up to Wano, and then see the events of Wano take place. 2 years we spent in Wano. More years we spent from Punk Hazard all the way up until now. And we've finally seen the prophecy of the Kozuki clan returning to Wano and ridding it of Orochi and Kaido finally coming to pass in the first week of June. And ain't it something? This is also my eldest sister's birthday. I'm the eldest, but she's the middle child in our family. Her birthday is today as well. So not only did my sister have a birthday, but it's also the day that Kozuki Momonosuke assumes the throne and is welcomed back as the official shogunate of Wano. So this is already a significant day for me. One for my sister's birthday and another for this happening. But we finally reached it, everyone. We've reached it, which now begs the question, what is the Law, Straw Hat, Mink, Pirate, Samurai Alliance now officially over and done with? Because the only reason why Law joined up with Luffy is because they would have a stronger chance of taking down one of the Yonko. That has been fulfilled. Law joining up with Luffy back on Punk Hazard was to take on Doflamingo, which would then draw ire from Kaido, and then they would take down Kaido. But now that obligation has been fulfilled. Law is no longer obligated to be anywhere near the Straw Hats anymore because they've already fulfilled their end of the bargain. So now, where do they go from here? Do they just go their own separate ways? Because we know that they wanted to take down, the Worst Generation wanted to take down one of the Yonko. 2 of them have already been taken down. And it's funny how Law and Luffy joined up to take down Kaido, but Law completely took down Big Mom, who I would imagine was not on his list of Yonkos to take down, and he ends up taking her out, along with Kid. And then we got Luffy taking down Kaido. So that's 2 Yonkos down. But is there any obligation for Law to stick with the Straw Hats anymore? No. In all intents and purposes, there's really no reason for Law to stick around anymore. Because he's already fulfilled his obligation for this alliance that was started in Punk Hazard after they took down the Snow Bros. So now Law doesn't have to be with them anymore. He doesn't have to plan with them anymore. He can go his own way now. There's just so I feel, and I can't really, I don't want to say that there's still loose ends to tie up, but now that we are now about to enter into the quiet period of Wano. No more fighting. No more big bosses to take down. No one else. We're about to enter into the quiet before the next arc. That's how close we are. We're about to enter into the quiet era. We're about to enter into the quiet chapters of Wano. No more planning. No more raids. No Yonkos, no Kaido, no Orochi, no beast pirates enforcing their will onto the people of Wano. Wano is now free. On the 5th of June in the year 2022, Wano is now free. Because now Momonosuke is assuming the throne. No more one day of Fire Festival. You all can do whatever you've been doing before they showed up. Live the lives you want to. No more will poison be spoiling our water. No more will our wasteland of a country look like this. We are going to make Wano a paradise on Earth, just like my father wanted. That is where we're entering into Wano right now. No more scheming on trying to figure out, oh, I really hope this plan goes off without a hitch or anything like that. That's over. Wano is free. The long-awaited moment that we've been thinking about way back in the back of our minds, that we've been thinking about this whole time, has now directly in our faces. So where do we go from here? We leave. We have no other obligation to stick to Wano. Now, mind you, we'll probably stay here in Wano a little bit for the Straw Hats to fully recover, for the Sunny to be repaired for any damages when Kaido and his guys tried to blow it up that one time, but Frankie is a good shipwright, so you don't need to worry about it being too damaged. But now, we just have the period where the Straw Hats recuperate before they leave. And then, we're done with Wano. I don't think a lot of people understand how significant that is. Once everyone is rested, they're leaving. And then we're going back to the world, to the rest of the world. The events of the Reverie, the events of the Revolutionary Army proclaiming war on the world government and the Celestial Dragons themselves. Blackbeard making his move, trying to go to Marie Joie because apparently whatever was said in the news about Sabo. And then we got the other Yonkos that are out there, such as Shanks and Blackbeard. We already know what Blackbeard's doing, just heading to Marie Joie. We got to deal with the world, dealing with the abolishment of the 7 warlords. We got to deal with what's going on with each individual ones, such as Buggy and Hancock and Edward Weevil and Mihawk and everyone affiliated with them. We got to know what happened with Sabo and Vivi. We got to know what happened with King Cobra. We need to know what's going on with Ryugu Giyu and this SSG we've been hearing about, and the giant children going to see Vegapunk. That's the rest of the world. That's all the rest of the world right now. Then we have to deal with the Straw Hats and their new bounties, as the world finds out that not 1, but 2 Yonko have been defeated in the same day. Sunny wasn't damaged unless you call a few sail burns damaged. Yeah, that's what I meant. Just the sails. Just the sails. We have to deal with not only the world reeling from all this information I've just told you, but now they're going to have to deal with the fact that not 1, but 2 of the most powerful individuals that we've ever seen as far as pirates are concerned have been defeated in the exact same day. And the world government is going to have to deal with the news from that surviving CP0 member that Luffy has awakened the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. Not only that, but they're also going to have to deal with the news that Orochi is no longer going to be giving them weapons from his weapons factory because they were working with Orochi to get weapons from them. Not only that, but he was also supplying the world government with Kairoseki as well, because Kairoseki comes from Wano. Now the world government is no longer going to have like a steady supply of Kairoseki from Wano because Orochi is no longer going to be sending it to them. That's what the rest of the world is going to have to deal with now. Now, let me just say this. Oh my goodness, Ozzy! Thank you for becoming a member! My heart! Ah! It always surprises me when that happens. Now, let me just go right here. Kairoseki. Now, let me just look this up. Sea stone, just to make sure that I'm not saying something wrong by saying, though it originates from Wano country, sea stone is currently utilized in many inventions and devices around the world. It's utilized around the world, but it originates from Wano. It is originally from Wano. So since it's originally from Wano, Wano is one of the biggest places that has Kairoseki there. That the world government was expecting Orochi to supply to them along with weapons. So now that Momonosuke is not opening the doors to Wano, and he's assuming control and ruling over Wano as the official shogunate now, the world government has just lost another weapons Kairoseki foothold in the world to them. Possibly the biggest one. Because like I said multiple times, Wano is the Wakanda of One Piece. So now they've lost out of that. So now the entire world is going to have to reel from this news of everything that's happened on Onigashima now. Took you a while to become a member, but I'm here. Ozzy, it's fine. It's perfectly all right. Don't think that you're forced to become a member. It's just another way to, help support this channel in a way. It really does. I just see it as a big appreciation because I don't want to lock anything I do on this channel towards member tier levels. It's just, this is just one way that people can show appreciation. I might have different levels in the future. Different levels in the future, but I won't be locking any content behind it. It's just different ways of showing appreciation. But that'll be far off in the future. It's fine where it is right now. My theory about the SSG, somehow Vegapunk made the fruits come to life in humanoids form or inside the Kuma clones. Momo could open the borders under the protection of the Straw Hat flag. He could, but I feel like Momonosuke needs to grow mentally before he sees that as a good idea. Because I believe Momonosuke doesn't want to open the borders to Wano yet because he's not fully ready to open the world to Wano. And I don't think he's mentally prepared to deal with whatever happens should anyone get into Wano from the outside. I honestly feel like Momonosuke thinks that he is not mentally ready to open his entire country up to the world yet. That's how I feel about it. But now we just need to deal with the rest of the world, dealing with all the news that happened in Wano. Hoping one of the next 2 or 3 members in the near future. You're hoping to be one of the next 2 or 3 members in the near future. God willing. CJ, hey, it's entirely your choice. I appreciate everyone who has become members, and I got a few, and it's surprising to say that to say that I even have more than one member. That's significant to me. And I don't diminish that or don't think little of that in any way. I'm very appreciative to everyone who thinks that, hey, I'm worth being a member for. It's shocking to me, actually, but I'm humbled by the appreciation. But the rest of the world is not ready for this news. Because for the longest time, the moniker of Kaido has been, whether it's on air, land, or sea, always bet on Kaido. You can't say that anymore. The once thought to be invincible Yonko of the world, once thought invincible that no one could dare stand to him, has now been defeated. Not only him, but also the Soul Queen herself, the Queen of Totland, the ruler of Whole Cake Island. Everyone's gonna have to deal with this news now. They already were reeling from the news of just the warlords being abolished. And then the events of the Reverie. But now they're going to have to deal with Yonko. 2 Yonko being completely defeated. Not just regular citizens, but other pirates. And especially pirates who know the Straw Hats and find out that they had a part to play in the defeat of not 1, but 2 Yonko at the same time. Oh, Luffy's enemies in the past, they're going to feel some type of way. And then as who said it first? Cohagen says Bartolomeo's gonna have a field day. He is gonna lose his mind. I'm sure that Luffy will wake up the second he smells food, and Zoro will come to life when he smells sake. They got that nose. Their nose, when it comes to smelling stuff, is stronger than Sanji's, and Sanji can tell the ingredients of a piece of food just by eating it one time. That's why he was able to replicate that cake that Struzan made way back on Whole Cake Island. Technically, Kaido in the air and Luffy knocked him through the ground. Hey, they were both in the air. It still counts, Ozzy. It still counts. Whether in the air, land, or sea, whether Kaido's in the air, on the land, or near the sea, always bet on Kaido. But you can't say that anymore. The new generation has finally surpassed the previous generation. And the one way we'll see that come to 100%, Julian, is when we see Blackbeard defeated and Luffy surpass Shanks. That's when that new generation will have fully surpassed all Yonko. All of them. Not just Big Mom and Kaido, but all of them. Can't wait for Doflamingo to read that newspaper. This dude the thing is, Doflamingo was so scared to have his sad and smiles destroyed and disrupted for Kaido. He was scared to run up in to have a run-in with Kaido. Now, what is he going to think when he finds out that Luffy beat the person that Doflamingo was scared of? That's just going to make him look even smaller in comparison when you think about it. Wow, Luffy beat me, but then Luffy beat Kaido? You mean to tell me that he was this strong? Imagine getting beat by a rubber boy and then find out that your boss, who you were scared of, also gets beaten by this rubber boy. Imagine how much less powerful you're going to feel. Just imagine when Doflamingo learns that the person he was scared of was beaten by the same person that beat him. He thought Luffy was ridiculous bouncing around as Bounce Man all this time and thought that no one could dare touch him, but Luffy beat him. Imagine Doflamingo's face when he finds out that his boss, that he was scared of being killed by, was also beaten by Luffy. But not only that, but also find out that Law took down Big Mom, along with Kid. But I say Law because of him using Shock Will on her. And then her falling into a giant magma pit and then exploding with a volcano. That's a worldwide double tap when you think about it. You get hit once by the worst generation, then you fall into lava, and then the volcano comes back and hits you with the double tap. But I've gone on far longer than I needed to. I just wanted to give my thoughts. I just wanted to give my thoughts about this chapter, and this chapter was phenomenal. This chapter was great. This is one of the greatest chapters of One Piece we will get. Wow. So many. Lady Toki would be proud. Odin would be proud. Pedro would be proud. Ashura Doji would be proud because he's not there present with everyone else as they made their way to the Flower Capital. Everyone involved would be proud. Everyone who lost their lives during this would be proud. Yasuie's sacrifice. He's finally been avenged. Everyone who lost their lives to Kaido and Orochi in Wano, they have officially and completely have been avenged. And now Momonosuke looking just like his daddy. Now he gets to assume the throne as the new shogun of Wano. I'm happy. Now you need Fuga versus Roki to conclude and all the fights are done? Right, because Fuga was taking care of Roki in front of the armory, but I'd imagine they're done fighting now. I imagine they're done fighting. Especially after hearing that Kaido's been beaten, I imagine they're done. But I'm done. I'm done with this chapter. I gotta move on to My Hero Academia. I gotta go out and get some food for myself and grandma, because my grandma is over visiting today. Also, Kenzo got groomed, so he looks just like a small little itty-bitty pudgy little puffy dog. He's not a chonkers, but his fur makes him look that way. So, a lot of things for me to do. But, let me go ahead and get started with My Hero. I'll eat, then I'll do my reaction to the newest One Piece episode. And then I'll call it a session for today. But overall, fantastic chapter. Whew. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. We have reached the end of the fighting for Wano. It's over. There's nothing more. Now all that's left for Wano is for it to work towards gaining all that peace that they lost over the past 20 years. They got a lot of catching up to do. But I'm looking forward to seeing Wano the best it's ever been under the leadership of Momonosuke and all of the Akazaya 9 along with Hiyori. I'm just happy. This is a great chapter. This is amazing. This is going to stand with people for a very long time. And the fact that we don't go on break from this chapter makes me wonder what we're going to experience next. But we'll just have to wait and see where it goes from there. So all I can really say at the end of the day is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. On to My Hero. What a day.